Hey guys, Irrelevant John here, and I'm going to be doing a Weiss Schwarz deck profile. And this is going to be a deck profile of my Impersonator deck for Persona 4 version E. And I guess let's get started with level zeros. So I'll lay them across the mat, and you can see pretty much all of them, and I'll explain on the way. Sorry if there's going to be a lot of glare in my video, so I'm gonna probably stack them up in different ways so it'll avoid glare. Hopefully you can see this Naoto here, but other than that, for level zeros, I run 4 of the Beauty Pageant Miss Protagonist. This card is just a 3000 vanilla card. I personally don't like vanilla cards, but in this deck, he could be very good if I can pull out at least 2 of these in my starting hand, and I'll explain what her effect is later. But other than that, though, it's just 4 plain vanilla cards. The next 2 is Prince of Disappointment Yosuke, 2500 attack power, which is okay. And I don't really use this effect because his effect is on play. I put the top card of my deck into the waiting room, and however many soul trigger icon there is, I get to give it to another Junez character, and you can probably already guess what the problem there is. There's only 2 Junez characters in here, and one of them is being put on play. So basically, I have to start with 2 of these in my hand in order for that effect to work. But other than that, though, I mostly ignore that effect and just have these 2 here because the attack power is 25, and a lot of the blue cards in the beginning hand is not that strong. So speaking of that, I run 4 of these full power follow-up Naotos. 2000 attack, it's okay, but I have it in here just to save some of my cards later in the game, depending if I need it, or I can actually save a card for its on-play effect. What it basically does is when one of my cards being frontal attack, I can pay 1 and put this card to the waiting room, and whatever card's being frontal attack, I can just take back and put into my hand. So basically, it saves a card for me that I want to still have. It's pretty good later on in the game, depending on what I want to do, and it also could help me for the level 1 changer, which I'll explain later. But other than that, though, it's just pretty much a savior card, not really an attacker, but it's level 0, so I can always side attack for 1 damage still. Alright, now, I think this is the most important card in my whole deck, almost, because this is where I can actually get more power in the deck, is that these 4 Detective Prince Naotos are the assist cards. The reason why I want them in my first hand is because she gives a universal 500 power to all impersonators, so which is good. So basically 1000 boost to every other impersonator characters, as long as there's 2 in the back. And her second effect is that if these 2 or one of these are in the back, and I play a impersonator card on the field, I get to pick any impersonator card in my field or stage, and I can give that card an extra 500 power. I can only do it 3 times per turn, so basically I can spread out 500 3 times, but if I have both of them, I can pretty much spread out 500 6 times. So basically, take this as an example, this protagonist here. Let's just say both of them are out there. Alright, so 3000, so play on field, universal 500 assists, so basically both of them will give another 1000, so 4000, and I can pick and give him another 1000 from the secondary effect. So basically 5000 attack on that turn is actually pretty good at level 0. Sorry about all that talking and everything, but I think this is the card I need near the beginning of the game at level 0 or level 1. Alright, so these next 2 cards here are not part of the impersonator trait, but these kind of cards here I think that everyone should run in their deck. It's a Brainstorm. This is the only good Brainstorm Persona series, and I wouldn't even consider the, I guess, Brainstorm good. But this one's good because it's the red brainstorm. This one I can pay 1 and tap this. So pay 1, tap this card, and how many depending on how many climax I hit in the top 4 cards of my deck, I can return a character from the waiting to my hand. So I can salvage a few cards that way. This card is good in this deck because this deck almost has no way of searching or even salvaging cards at all. So she's very useful in here. I would run another one of her, but I like to keep the Impersonator trait a little high in this deck because of the level 2. And then for the last card, I run Assertion of Youth Teddy. I only run one of him. 2500 attack, not bad. He can't get boosted because he's not an Impersonator, but I find this card a little bit useful in case I get climax screwed. So on play, I can pay 2, and I take my waiting room and shuffle it into my deck, and then basically, it's basically a pay 2 to refresh your deck without taking a penalty. That's good and all, but the downside I have with it is because since I pay 2, and if I read the other part of the effect, my opponent also gets to refresh their deck, so basically it's free for them. So this is good to screw up some people's decks if their whole deck depends on salvaging. You can really screw up their game plan like mid-game with this. But then there are decks that actually takes advantage of searching through a deck like the Titan deck. But other than that though, this is my level 0s, and I think there are 17 of them. So 4, 8, 12, 14, 16, 17. Yeah, there are 17 cards. Alright, so for the level 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So basically I run 11 level 1s. So for this one, it's the I run 3 infinite possibility Naotos. This is the changer, and it changes into the level 2, which I'll explain later. For this card, it's pretty weak. It has a climax combo with a what was it? I can't really say, but I think it's Megadolon. But yeah, basically when my opponent's reversed and I play that climax, I get to draw a card. But it's very hard to do that if I do not have the level 0 assist, like I mentioned before, because her base attack is 4500. With the climax, it's 55, and that's just a vanilla. Chances are you're not going to reverse that card unless you have the Naoto assist in the back. But mostly though, this card I have to run in the back anyways if I want to keep its change effect, because if it dies, I can't change into it, because for the Persona series, for most cards to change, they have to be right at the beginning, right before the draw phase. Other than that though, the climax combo is almost completely useless to me, and is there mostly for the change to level 2. Alright, so for the next 4 cards, I run 4 Miss Teddy. A lot of people do not like this card, and there are a lot of people who actually like this card. It's kind of a troll card. The reason why I run 4 of these over any of the vanilla Naotos is because I don't like the vanilla Naotos. It's just a vanilla card. At least this has an effect, but it could be good and bad. So basically, for this card, if I decide to attack, I put the top card of my deck into the waiting room. And if it's a climax card, it gets plus 4 souls on that attack. So basically, a total of 5 souls attacking right there. That's fun and all, and it's really good if you can hit it off, because I've been able to pull it twice in one turn, and it completely destroyed the other person. But the downside is that you kind of lose a climax from for canceling. And also, sometimes you don't want to mill your deck if you really need a certain card. Because this is a forced effect where I have to put the top card from my deck to the waiting room. But other than that, though, I kind of like its troll effect. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I kind of like to get rid of their climax early on in the game, and this actually can help it if I can put a climax card from the deck to the waiting room. Fun times. Alright, and for the last 4 cards, I run Middle of a Long Journey Elizabeth. And you probably noticed They are not impersonators. The reason why I run 4 of these cards is because it's a Clock Encore character. And Clock Encore to me is like one of the best level 1s you can get. Especially since this is a level 1 zero pay. Or zero cost. And she's only base 4,000, but chances are my hands will be at least 5 or plus by the time I have her out in the field. So she gains 2,000 power if I have 5 or more cards in my hand. And it's pretty much here for building stock and field presence. And that's pretty much it for my level 1s. And I probably should mention, they obviously don't get a boost, because I don't have any boosting cards. That's not Impersonator. Alright, for my level 2s, I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I run 10 level 2s. So to start off with, I run 4 the Undercover Investigation Naoto. This card here is pretty much almost my strongest card in the whole entire deck, but it's kind of only strongest on play because this card gains 500 for every other impersonators on the field, so it can go up all the way to 90. But with the Naoto assist in the back, it's basically 10,000. So, which is a pretty good number at level 2 already. And also, if I have the Naoto assist in the back, I can also give her more power by spreading the 500 power around. So she could get as high as like almost 12-ish. I wouldn't go any higher than that usually. But yeah, this card is pretty much my powerhouse with the assist in the back. And this card climax combos with the charging to the investment room climax. So when this card attacks, I can pay 1, and basically she gains another 1,000 power, and I basically get to draw 2 cards and put 1 card from my hand into the waiting room. So basically, it's a hand-fixing climax combo. If you draw 2 cards. Yep. Alright, just making sure there. Alright, and the next 4 cards, this is what the changer, the Infinite Possibility Naoto changes into, and it's the Naoto and Yamato Takeru. This card here is not exactly strong at all for level 2, but it does have 2 souls, so it's still good coming out at level 1, because you'll always swing for 2 soul damage. And with the Naoto assist boost, it's a decent card. The one reason why I like this card is because if you can get her out at level 1 and you have a decent amount of stock, you can kind of almost heal every attack depending on how much you have her in the field, or you can heal at least once every turn until your opponent gets to level 2, where he can probably destroy this card. But yeah, her effect is when she attacks, I can pay 1 from stock and put the top card of my deck into the waiting room, and if that card's an impersonator, I get to heal 1 from my clock. Which is a very good card, and you can actually keep looping it depending on how many cards you have there. Only downside is, when you use this card, you lose the stock. And guess what happens after when you attack? You gain the stock. So basically, you won't be gaining any stock at all if you use this effect. But having this out level 1 is actually pretty good, because 2 soul damage is always good. Alright, and the last 2 cards I run is also an impersonator. Yay. This is 2 totally wrong Miss Kanji, and I really like this card because a lot of decks now have a lot of changers, and what this Kanji does is provides 2,500 backup power to any card that's being attacked, and it's pay 1 to do that, obviously, because it's level 2. And the secondary effect is I can pay 3, and if my opponent character is higher than their own level in their level zone, I can pretty much use this effect, pay 3, and put that card into the waiting room. Basically, it's good at stopping changers, and I found it very useful against, the Titan decks, because Titan decks are really weak against the anti-changers. But other than that, though, This is my level 2, and like I said, they're not really strong, but depending what you have, you can actually combo to a pretty high number with these 4 cards. Alright, so for my level 3, it's nothing really amazing. I run for the 2000 IQ Killjoy Detective Naoto Shirogane. I personally don't think this is really that great of a card, or maybe even a good card at all. I barely get to play it because it's never in my hand usually, and even if it's when it's in my hand, meh. But with the Naoto assist, I guess that's pretty good because if I have 3 or more impersonators, I get 1000 power for this card, and following ability, whenever my level 2 or higher opponent becomes reversed, I get to draw a card. Yeah, freehand's okay, but level 3, it's meh. It's not that great because I don't really have any hand-on card like I use it for. And on play, I get to draw 2 cards and put 1 card into the waiting room. Other than that, though, it's not exactly that great of a card. It's just here because I need a level 3, and there aren't that many other impersonator cards left in the deck, really, or in the set. Alright, and on to the climaxes. I run 2 of the Mega Dolons, and as I said before, this climax combos with the level 1 Infinite Possibility Naotos, and if I reverse my opponent, I get to draw a card. Yay. And the trigger is, well, draw a card. Alright, and the next 4 climax is 4 charging to the announcement room. It climax combos with that level 2 I told you about, the undercover investigation Naoto. I gain 1000. I gain 1000 power, and I get to draw a card. No, did I get to draw a card? No, I get to draw 2 cards and put 1 into the waiting room. Sorry about that. And other than that, though, the reason why I won 4 of this, the climax combo's okay, hand fixes, but it's here mostly because +2 souls. You can never go wrong with +2 souls. And then the last 2 triggers is 2 Bond with Fists. Not really related to the deck at all. It's there for the gate. And like I said before, Yukiko is the only way I can bring back characters from the waiting room. When I said it the other way, this is what I meant by the other way. Just the 2 gates. Other than that, though, this deck is okay. I find it pretty fun. It does win because I swing for a lot of souls most of the time. But yeah, that's not really a new strategy or anything. Soul Rush is pretty standard in some decks. But other than that, I find this deck pretty fun, and I don't see myself changing this deck anytime soon because I think I'm pretty much done with the Persona series for restructuring at all now. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and look forward to the next deck profile. Hopefully some from my friend.